we are releasing today 7 more. As you all know, already 4 pamphlets have been released during the last 2 occasions. And today, these 7 makes the current list complete. So as far as we are concerned, what we have been trying to impress upon you and through you to the people of the country and through our own channels also, to tell the people that these elections are meant for discussing the policy issues concerning the lives of the people today. The way the whole election process is being diverted into a issue between few individuals or even between few political parties, that is not what is required today. A discussion on the policy issues concerning the livelihood of the people, concerning the future of the country, concerning the sovereignty of the country. All these issues should be discussed during this election process, and people have an opportunity to punish those who have been culprits and guilty, and those who are trying to occupy the chair, those who don't have a different basic policy from that of the present rulers. Our effort is to build up an alternative where the left also want to play a major role. That is why we have been telling, we have been campaigning, strengthen the left, vote for CPM to do that, and for a democratic alternative in this country. And so this is what we are trying to do. And still, on 28th of March today, and the first batch of polling is on 7th, many political parties have not come out with, even so-called major parties have not come out with their manifestos. And some of you fortunately are knowing that what is going to come, and started writing editorials on the proposed manifestos. That was something new to people like us who have been doing this political work for the last 40, 50 years. And yes, some editorials can be written on the proposed manifestos. That's very good. Some of the media has also proposed manifestos. That is another thing. That I can understand. But this is what is expected from a political party. That way editorials also coming up in the papers. This was a new experience. All through, yes, media is playing its own way and its own role in all these things. That is another part of the story. But as far as we are concerned, we want to concentrate on these policy issues. That is why we have brought out all these things. And yes, what has come out before going into what we are releasing today. One thing is, yes, Congress has published its manifesto. That manifesto, as it is, as you know, it's a history of a list of broken promises. 10 years, what they could not do, they are promising the whole world that they are going to do wonders if they get another opportunity. I am reminded of a saying in Tamil, because that is my language, sorry. Kurayari koli pidikka mudiyadavan vaanameri vaikundam vazhigaattuvaana. Those who can't get just a chick on the roof of your hut, he will show you how to go to heaven. This is what is being done. One is on an alternative food security and price control policy. And as far as the food security issue is concerned and the price control policy is concerned, this is not the first time that CPIM is coming out with certain policy statements. We have been demanding control of prices, and price rise being one of the major issues in the country, that everybody will agree. In that situation, our proposals have been there before the country, within the parliament, outside the parliament, and our struggles on that is well known. And as far as food security is concerned, yes, I cannot go on. It is not necessary also to go into every aspect of it. But what we are demanding is, what the act that has come, or which is said to be implemented, that is not enough. No way that is a Food Security Act. There should be total changes. A new law is required. where universal public distribution will be the policy. That is what we have been demanding. The so-called targeted policy on public distribution is not a policy at all, and it has not survived. And the states where better options were available, it is there actually the poverty has come down, malnutrition has come down, that is all those details are available. And so what we have demanded is there a new law, and as far as what is, actually it is not price increase. Prices are being increased. That has been our basic point of campaign. When the price of petroleum products, when the whole transport charges, everything go up. And how does it go? How does this petroleum, all that we have come out, CPM has been in the forefront of the campaign, why the petroleum prices are going up, what is the policy of the government, and now also, even it is being discussed in different ways, from Godavari Basin to imported petroleum products to pricing of this and taxation, all these matters are there. And so we want the rollback of fuel prices, reduce taxation is a major issue, that indirect taxes on petroleum products, and reverse the decontrol. Now everybody is convinced it cannot be left to the so-called market. And so, and like that on the fertilizers also, and as far as food subsidy is concerned, our pamphlet gives you complete details. There's a big campaign that only in countries like India, where these so-called welfare measures or pro-people measures or something like that, where the subsidy is given, how far the subsidy is being given in various governments, various countries, all those details are available. And on all that, I think we have to have a serious discussion on that. That is where we have come with the second one on agriculture, farmers and workers. In this, those details are available. The page 2 of the pamphlet that we have released today to protect and defend agriculture. There, the details about Canada, European Union, Japan, USA and OECD countries together and India is given. We will see how much is it. Now, even the ruling party now says the subsidies will be assessed so that what is required and what is not required, all those details. And so that gives them an opportunity to do whatever they want, if at all. And I'm sure they are not going to come back to power to implement their manifesto this time. But this is what is happening. And so what we have been demanding, to be precise, is what M.S. Swaminathan committee had recommended. The actual expense was 50%. And then related to agriculture, various other policy issues. The basic issue of land reforms. The demands which we started even before independence. And even after 67 years of independence, now what is happening is in reverse. Whatever the poor farmers and agricultural workers or poor farmers or middle level farmers had, that is being taken away in one way or other. And all those issues are there before us. And so this land grab has to be ended, and the Swaminathan Commission recommendations have to be done. One major issue is, yes, WTO related issues. Even when the Food Security Act was passed, there was a big debate whether it is contravenes or it is against the WTO norms which Government of India has agreed. Even when the Government of India was to agree or sign into WTO, these issues were raised by us. This WTO business, we will be actually, when we raised the issue of sovereignty, we were ridiculed. Now those who have ridiculed us at that time are now going, as our minister went there, to convince them for a temporary relief for 5 years. And so even the food security that we intend to give to the poor people in the country, that is being questioned. Our drug policies are being questioned. And various other issues are there. And so we are under the tentacles of WTO. That is one major issue. And regarding agriculture and corporatization of agriculture and all these related matters, we have actually in a very brief way, in a very powerful way, given details about what are the truths, what are untruths, what is happening and what should happen. We have not entered by criticizing. We have given that what is required today is that a change in policies. That is for us the whole election campaign towards Nidiyon ko badalne ke liye, towards a change in policies. That is what we are doing. And so the free trade agreements as part of WTO or the bilateral agreements that are happening with various countries and the proposed one on European Union, all these are going to create havoc for not only agriculture or not only our pharmaceutical industry, not only the drug and health issues, that is a separate issue, but all these together we have to. And so, and for agricultural workers. The worst part of it is everybody talks about Aam Aadmi, that now that word is copyrighted by somebody, and those who started it have, we have seen in the manifesto for the Congress party, Aam Aadmi is not there. Whether that word is not there or not. But you have been talking about Daridra Narayans from the time of Mahatma Gandhi himself, father of the nation. Then all through, and Garibi Hatao, all that has happened. Now what is today? For the agricultural workers, a comprehensive legislation, it came at the time of Srimati Gandhi. And the committee that was there in the parliament, I think none of them are alive today. They are all past. They have been part of the history, including the Prime Minister, including our representative, our General Secretary of the All India Agricultural Workers Union, Comrade P.K. Kunyachan was there as a member of Rajya Sabha. All those who have passed away. But still nobody knows what is the fate. And some research can be done. What are all the welfare bills that was introduced in the parliament and never taken up and lying down somewhere in the backyard of the Indian parliament or the Indian secretariat. And so the social security and wage and related matters of agricultural workers, the largest contingent of the unorganized sector or informal workers in this country, we have been demanding. And on that, yes, one major issue that was settled during the UPA 1 was the NREGA. Now 100 days, what is the average? It comes to less than 30. That is the average. There are only very few states who have taken it up seriously and have done something better than others. And so there should be a very serious effort. The allotments have come down, all those details are there, I am not going into that. But now at least, when the High Court of Karnataka, Karnataka High Court, ordered the government that you should implement the minimum wages, statutory minimum wages, shamelessly our government went to appeal. Even our Supreme Court at one point had said, if you can't pay the minimum wage, you have no right to exist, no right to be in the business. That was what was said by our Supreme Court. But shamelessly, a government which said that we are for the people, Aam Aadmi ka sarkar hai, and this government went to appeal on that. And so what we are demanding today is at least 200 days of work with a wage of 300 rupees. And this fits into the demands which we are putting up as far as the workers are concerned. And so what we are demanding today is at least 200 days of work with a wage of 300 rupees. And this fits into the demands which we are putting up as far as the workers are concerned. Yes, worker is not on the agenda of the government. Unfortunately, my friends, we are not on your agenda of the media also. You can see everything, even behind the curtain also. Underneath the earth also, what are all the changes that is happening, we are able to report, but lakhs of workers coming into the street, raising basic demands like right to organize, basic demands like minimum wages, basic demands which like social security for the so-called Aam Aadmi and the most oppressed sections of the Indian working class. Unfortunately, I am not criticizing you, I have no right to criticize you because you are free. But please, at least now, think about this. These are the issues, these are the demands that are being raised by us. Yes, CPIM was in the forefront, along with other left parties, to support the total working class movement in this country, which had taken it up. Yes, this is a period when we are referring to 2009 to 2014, the UPA 2 period. It was in this period the working class of the whole country came together on a joint platform and raised certain basic demands. No, I don't want to. If I start talking on that, I'm afraid that I will cross my time limit also. I don't want to do that. But yes, but these demands of minimum wages, of social security, on right to organize, right to collective bargaining, or against privatization, all that is there. And the increasing contractualization. The shameful situation in the country, I use the word shameful because I don't have a better word or a worse word than that. It is 1:9, sir. In Gurgaon, the nearest, most modern industrial center, for every one regular worker, there are 9 contract workers. This is not what I am telling. And permanently temporary workers, this was the caption given by a study for Ashoka. It is there in front of us. Permanently temporary. And what is happening today is the increasing contractualization, and unfortunately, not only in the private sector, it is there in the public sector also. That is the situation today. And so all these basic demands of the workers, and especially of women workers, and more than that, Government of India boasts about these scheme workers. Even the Congress manifesto this time talks about we will strengthen the ICDS, Anganwadi workers, ASHA workers, midday meal workers. We will strengthen them. In what way? Again, it was discussed in the 45th Indian Labour Conference, say that consider them as workers. They are volunteers. 1 crore of scheme workers under different ministries of the Government of India, more than 1 crore of workers are there. They are not treated as workers, they are treated as volunteers. They are given honorarium. How much? 1,000 rupees. And the assurance that was given that there will be an increase by another 10,000 rupees, it has gone. It is not there. Now the assurance, the minister who gave the assurance, he is not going to be there. And so what has happened to that? Treat them as workers. They are working under the government. That is the situation. And finally, one big thing, yes, every one of you had published it. Cabinet decided on pensions. Two things. That's the final points I would like to. The pension which was available as a social security to the government employees in this country was there even before independent British period started. And from 2004 onwards, illegally for the Government of India employees, that was taken away an illegal way. And the law for that was passed in 2013 only. Now the Congress manifesto says that enactment was done to save the deposits of the workers in the pension fund. Ridiculous. Because you took away what was existing and forced the employees to be under the new pension scheme or the national pension scheme. And now they say the PFRDA Act was a regulator was appointed under the Act to save the money of the people. And so you have taken away what was existing. Now you say there will be a pension scheme for every workers. A decent working atmosphere will be there. Abolition of contract system, that act will be seriously implemented. How long can you go on cheating the workers? The Act on Contract System was 1970, it is 43 years old. So these are the situation. And finally, out of the 10 demands of the workers in the country, total trade union movement, only one demand. Though they did not have time to discuss with the trade unions, finally out of pressure, struggles, finally they decided minimum pension under EPF. Many of you, or at least some of you would have been covered under EPF Act also. Minimum pension will be 1,000 rupees. And cabinet decided. The government got what they wanted. Because every media they said 1,000 rupees is given. Now till today, I'm just coming back from the EPF office. Cabinet had decided. It has not been notified. It is a cheating that the government has done. The government declared that it is going to be implemented from 1/4. And another loot. The present wage limit for EPF is 6,500. The government said, it was decided in the Central Board of Trustees meeting, government accepted it, announced that the wage limit will be 15,000 rupees from 1/4/2014. Only 3 days left. If this is not, it's not going to be implemented because it is not notified. How long it will take, nobody knows. No answer. Cabinet decided, it has not been notified, it is lying somewhere. Where it is, nobody knows. And so, every worker who is getting a minimum wage, at least a wage of 15,000 rupees, if he had been covered under the EPF, from 6,500 to 15,000, that difference of 8,500 rupees, per month he is losing minimum 1,000 rupees. The employer is getting 1,000 rupees per worker gratis from this government. I want to use only that word because I don't want to use the other word. 1,000 rupees per worker for a corporate establishment in India, factory in India, office in India is saved for the employers through this. This is what has happened.
The CPIM will strongly resist the way in which the whole discourse of the elections is being shifted away from people's issues to a kind of building up of brand images on both sides. Building up brand image and then marketing the brand image. And look at the way in which the Congress is once again putting those very promises which it has broken repeatedly. And this kind of the fraud that it is committing. And on the other side, you have the BJP, which cannot even finalize a manifesto. That's the degree of unity that they have. That they are not at all bothered even. Apparently, the prime ministerial candidate from the BJP feels that there is no need for a policy statement at all because everybody is in any way going to vote for him. So this kind of building up and this whole marketing of individuals is something that the CPIM is not for, and that is why we are releasing all these documents. That is why we are pushing and placing before the people the alternative policies. This is not about 56-inch chest. I mean, there may be a difference in 56-inch chest and chest size difference may be there. But the policies of the BJP and the Congress are the very same policies. And that is what the people do not want, and that is what the people do not need. The people need an alternative, and this is what we have placed, that today this kind of social inclusiveness that is needed, it's got totally distorted. Look at the situation. I mean, all the details are there. I'm not going to go into all the details. But look at all the indices. Look at all the figures. The whole social sector, it's just getting handed over on a platter to corporate interests. The government, the state, the whole way in which allocation of funds should be done, there is a total withdrawal of state. And that is why all the sections of the people who in a democracy need to get entitlements, all of them are suffering. Look at the Adivasis. We have brought out a special booklet on the condition of the Adivasis. The whole Forest Rights Act, which was won after great struggle, that has got subverted, complete subversion. Worst scenario in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, in many other states, but all these BJP-ruled states. And the way in which Adivasis are getting trafficked and they are resorting to distress migration. They can't get work over there. They don't have a livelihood over there. And the common property resources are getting taken over, and they are being thrown out of the places where they were earlier getting employment. So for Adivasis, we have demanded that the alternative development model, which ensures proper implementation of the Forest Rights Act and their access to the local, the MSP should be fixed and the local resources, etc., it should be within their hands. And if you look at the Dalits also, in the Dalits, the whole SC component, there has been a large diversion of funds. And the kind of multiple discrimination being suffered, I mean, the shocking violence has occurred against Dalits. We have come across Modi calling scavengers work spiritual. So that is the ideology of the BJP as far as Dalits and manual scavenging is concerned. As far as the CPIM is concerned, we say that the Dalits, the SC/STs, the component plan that is getting diverted, there has to be special legal action to ensure that the funds actually reach these sections. And also the untouchability practices that are still widespread. We have had a very strong campaign against untouchability, and we are proud to say that the walls of untouchability came down in Uttapuram through our efforts, and we say today that many more such walls of untouchability will be brought down by the policies that the CPIM is placing before the people. And as far as health is concerned, I mean, it's alarming. 8 crore every year going under the poverty line because they are not able to buy the medicines or go in for treatment. The huge out-of-pocket expenditure. Public health is being starved of funds. The allocations, there is a pretense that it is going up, but actually real expenditure on health sector is going down. And as a matter of fact, all the health, the model, it is being handed over into private hands, and this is, in fact, medical tourism is being propagated. In fact, the health of the people is being placed against the health of the corporates, and it is the health of the corporates which the Congress and the BJP is interested in. The corporates are making huge profits and MNCs are all poised to take over. Therefore, as far as the party is concerned, we have placed these concerns before the people, and we say that there has to be a Right to Health Act. Health should be available to all, should be accessible to all, and it should be free of cost, and there should be no distinction, it has to remain in the hands of the people. And coming to women, I do believe that today the way in which nearly half the population, and the reason why I say nearly half is because after so much development, we find that the child sex ratio is still on the decline, 914 per thousand. What does it show? Alarming increase in violence against women, brutality against women, all kinds of attacks within the home, outside the home, sexual assault, sexual harassment at the workplace. So we feel that these kind of violences are linked socially, economically, politically to the policies also, and therefore the CPIM stands for alternatives which will ensure that those women who fall prey to violence, the Justice Verma Committee recommendations should be properly and wholly accepted, and they should be implemented, and there should be at every point, socially, economically and politically, the measures should be taken to ensure that women's right to a life of dignity and equality is protected and safeguarded. 33% women's reservation, I think women, the CPIM places on record the complete betrayal, both by the Congress which was in power and the stalling tactics that the BJP adopted. For that reason, 33% was not passed, and even today, women's representation in the highest decision-making bodies is below par. And the CPIM and the left has been advocating the passage of the 33% women's reservation bill as it is. And the neoliberal policies, the increase in the prices and the lack of work for women, the lack of pay for women, all these are also forming the base why women are being discriminated against, why women are suffering from the worst kinds of violence. And in this, the role that is being played by the BJP RSS ideology is something that we want to place on board. The CPIM is not for conservative approach to women. The CPIM believes that women should access equal rights, and the kind of backlash from conservative forces today is something that we have to guard against. And the communal ideology of the BJP that came to the fore in Muzaffarnagar, this is a very serious situation, very alarming, that in a country where we have so many religions, where we have so many different communities, so many castes, the way in which communal politics is being utilized by the BJP to divide the people, this is leading to violence, particularly against women. So in all these ways, the violence against women is something that has to be addressed through all the multiple interventions and policy level decisions which will ensure that women's rights remain human rights. So women's rights are part of human rights, and her life to dignity, her life to work, her right to equality within and outside the home must be safeguarded through these alternative policies. So these are some of the issues that we want to place on behalf of the CPIM.